Hey guys. According to G4 TV, Epic is going to be revealing the Unreal Engine 4 this year, which has been in development, according to some sources, since 2002. This engine um, is supposed to be a game changer, introducing new graphics, physics, and all these other things above the currently renowned Unreal Engine 3, which is utilized in games such as Batman, Borderlands, and Gears of War. The Unreal Engine 4 is designed around the next generation platforms, Xbox Next, Wii U, but these consoles are delayed mainly because what happened in 2008. And I am guessing, I'm hoping that they release Unreal Tournament 4 for the PC to show off what it can do graphically. In my opinion, it would make a lot of sense for them to do this because then when game companies want to make the games based on this engine in 2014 when the new consoles come out, they'll know what the graphics engine is capable of. Um, the main reason they're probably going to go on the PC first is because graphically PCs have become kind of juggernauts compared to the consoles in terms of graphics performance. A good example of this is how Battlefield 3 looks on PC versus Xbox and PlayStation. Um, Another thing is that almost three-quarters of households have computers now. Now I know that not all of those are, video game worthy, but you have to think like how many people play World of Warcraft. Like there is a market out there for sure for a game which would be more PC based. One thing I'd like to discuss is that as Unreal Tournament has come out with new installments, in my opinion, they've really decreased the amount of features that people are really looking for when they purchase a game like this. Most of their games now, like 2004 was a good one, but it wasn't great in my opinion. 2000 and Unreal Tournament 3 was absolutely atrocious for this. Was something I like to call game generalization, where most games are starting to look pretty much the same. They fall victim to marketing more than creating innovative features which makes games better. If you look at games like Unreal Tournament 3 versus like Modern Warfare versus even Battlefield 3, they're all kind of cookie cutter games now. They're not really pushing the envelope in any other way other than trying to make the best graphics and making games which are becoming faster and faster. It's like whoever can click the fastest wins instead of whoever has to devise or thinks to devise a strategy and then goes into for the kill. Um, for instance, one of the biggest things that they took out, like one of the in Unreal 2004 and also in Unreal Tournament 3 was that they took out something extremely important to a game which wants to build a community online. If you look at the original installment here, this one window is so important. Like the importance of this is absolutely ridiculous. This allows people to actually communicate with the people who they're talking to. It allows people to carry conversations, get to know the people who they're playing the video games against. Another thing this allows people to do is to develop clans, and the clans can become friends. They can create their own rooms, organize matches, and they can even go clans versus clans to see kind of who's the best one. And this creates a rivalry. It makes people want to get better and all this other stuff. And it also gives players a place to play that they feel comfortable with because they know the people who play there. And no games, like I said before, no games since the first installment of this have actually included this chat option. So what does this do? This forces players to play against random people and removes any sort of personable aspects of the game and is, in my opinion, one of the reasons for killing it. And another gripe I have about this is that the game is called Unreal Tournament. It's been called this for forever. And, they were focusing on the Unreal part of it, the graphics. Um, Mainly the graphics, to be honest with you, but it's what it kind of reminded me of. Like they kept trying to make the game cooler and cooler and cooler as the series gone by. But it reminds me of like a nerdy kid who wears a bunch of Ed Hardy, trying to look cool. In the end, you're left with this thing that just doesn't look right, or and one of the trendy things that they kind of did with the new game was they added vehicles. That was a big thing for them. They added vehicles to the game, and you know, it was. Don't get me wrong. It's fun to play around with stuff like that. But when you get into, if you're looking for something very competitive, then you're adding far too many variables to the game to make it to something that you can work on and reproduce and to make better. And this kind of leads me into my next topic of like the esports community. When games become popular in esports, they essentially they sell themselves. There's so many ways that they sell themselves. More people pay attention to the game. More people stream the game. More people watch the streams. More people, brag about it to their friends and try to get their friends involved. So it's probably the best way of marketing is to try to make the game as big as possible and not focus on like the graphics as much as the gameplay. To see what people really want in the game instead of just trying to make this beautiful game that kind of gets boring after a while. It kind of reminds me of if let's say you play RPGs. Like, what keeps you playing an RPG? It's not the graphics. I mean, sure, like sometimes you'll walk into a place, even in like Star Wars, which I constantly play right now. You'll walk into a place, you look up, and you're like, wow, this place is really big and it's just gorgeous. But am I ever going to go in there again? Absolutely not. The only reason why I went in there is because it's a part of the quest that I need to do. So, like, the story keeps people coming back for RPGs, whereas these first-person shooters, they have to have a reason to come back. And one of the things that they really need to do is they need to take a page out of Blizzard's book and they need to make a proper ladder. And for those of you who don't play StarCraft regularly, I'll just have a quick introduction to this. So what they do, the ladder system that they create in StarCraft, what it does is you're basically placed into one of 5 categories. You're going to be placed into a diamond league like I'm in, or the ones that are lower down are like the platinum, gold, the silver, and the bronze. And the reason why they have these different categories is because the people who play it more often, they're going to be far better than the ones who are, the ones who are just starting out. So it's not a very positive learning environment if you just keep getting killed all the time. So to place you into places who you're good against, so you'll have more fun matches. So you don't get overwhelmed by the game. You can easily go into it. And the other thing is that you need to be able to, like, it gives you the drive to get better, and it creates competition. Another thing is that if we take a look back, if we take a look at Steam, I believe I have it loaded up here. I'll be an idiot if I don't. I don't. 1 second. If we look under the store in Steam, we can see that out of the games that are currently being played on the service, that the number 3 game right now is Counter-Strike. It's usually kind of waving between 1 and 3. But this game was released at about the same time as Unreal Tournament. And the reason why this game became so popular is because it's a very strategic game. And you'll have like this is probably the game with the most professionals. I would argue would be Counter-Strike in that it's a game where like the little details will make a big difference. The maps make a huge difference in all these other things. But overall that was a very good game, and it sold like plenty of copies, and that is still a very popular game today. And even this game, even though this one came out like in I believe it was 1998, but I might be wrong about that. There's still quite a few people who play this, considering that there wasn't too big of an esports scene which was created around this. The last time I checked, this had about 900 players on it, and like the game would have to be good in order to do that. Whereas I also own a copy of Unreal Tournament 3, and I'm not going to go into it, but essentially there was maybe 20 people playing that game, and it shows that that game was not designed properly, that there is a big problem with it, and it's with their formula. It's not with anything else. Like Um, what they need to do with it is they need to make the ladder, especially for the 1v1s through the 5 versus 5s, so that the clans can go up against each other. And it needs to give the game meaning. Without meaning, the game is essentially boring and it'll just completely die. So the next thing that they need to do is they need to make maps. The maps have to they have to be really innovative. This is one part that is absolutely crucial, and like even Blizzard knows this. Like you have to make a map where it makes people think about what they really want to do, and it has to kind of build strategy around different things. Here's the perfect example here is Deck 16. If you look at this map, here they have a sniper rifle up here in this corner, and especially in a 1 versus 1, you can kind of camp out this area, and you can snipe people along the walls in the bottom here. You can there's a few high risk but high reward kind of things in this map. For instance, there's a shield generator right here, but if you get shot even once, you'll land in the acid and die. Just the way that the map is laid out, it makes for a very, very intense, and it makes you think about where and what you want to do next in order to kill the person. It isn't just one of these kind of blind games where you just run in there and just whoever clicks first wins. I think that's super important. And then the other thing is going to be weapons. The weapons have to be very, very balanced. You have to have weapons that counter other weapons in different situations. You can't just have a whole bunch of things that do a whole bunch of different things, or sorry, guns that do a whole bunch of different things, and expect it to play out like it should. Like in this game, some weapons are extremely good short range. Some of them are very defensive weapons. For instance, the shock rifle. Some are very offensive weapons, like the rocket launcher. And in the game's entirety, it made a whole bunch of different ways in which the game could be played. And so what they tried doing was they added the vehicles to it, like I said before. But I mean, if you really want something that'll be competitive, it has to be simple. It can't be too dynamic and crazy like that. I mean, it's going to be fun for if you have 70 people on a map and everyone's driving around vehicles. You could make it even a vehicle only kind of a map. That would be fine. But I mean, adding something with that much dynamic, makes it kind of makes it lose its appeal in more of a competitive aspect. Another thing about this game that really made it stand out is that when compared to the other ones, is that your character, it feels like something that would be more realistic. Like your character isn't moving 500 freaking miles an hour. Like it's not one of those things where you run around a corner and whoever clicks first wins. Like it's something you see your opponent, you think to yourself, do I want to engage there? Do I want to try to go this from a different position? And then you kind of continue into that. It's not just kind of a random thing. Whoever clicks the fastest wins. And the other thing I really didn't like about the next installments after that, like if you look at this map, I can't stream on my computer. I don't. The settings are a little bit weird for it, but it's this game is very light. Like there's going to be shadowy areas you can hide in, which are cool. I think that's a good idea. But if you look at the entire game, it's very light. It doesn't have like a really grueling feeling around it, like the Unreal Tournament 2004 maps and the Unreal Tournament 3 maps do. All those are very, very dark, and they're the graphics are better, but it's not somewhere that you'd really want to play for a very long period of time in. So that's one thing that I also had an issue with. And the other thing that was also very offsetting was the characters. It seems that the characters keep getting bigger and bigger. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you have to have somebody that big carrying a gun around? I think that Chris Rock said it best when he said, "You got a gun? You don't gotta work out. I ain't working out. I ain't jogging. You got pecs? I got techs." I mean, that's a perfect example. You don't need to be huge to have a gun. I mean, look at Snoop Dogg. Okay, that's probably, yeah. Anyway, so they need to go the graphics. They have a very, very well polished graphic system is excellent. It is required. The lighting has to be spot on, but the most important thing to keep people enticed here is the feeling that they have to improve. Take achievements are okay. I like the idea of achievements, but that can't be the center of what pushes the game forward. especially a first-person shooter. You have to have try to make it so that it's a more longevity-driven game. Anyway, thanks for your time, and hope to see you guys in my next video.